really a pretty good run up here, and my long position was closed out a couple days ago, somewhere in here, I think. And the thing is, at this level, even though we've had this big run, the system is still telling me to be long. The level that's going to negate that hypothesis is this 89.68 or so. So if the Russell closes below 89.68, I'm going to be looking to get out of any long positions I might be able to open up and potentially get short if I'm able to get the right risk reward on the trade. Let's hop over here and look at the bonds, TLT. And this is sort of a similar situation. I was closed out of my March bond trade this week. Price just continues to sort of chop around and break down in here. And if we get above this 118.67 area and we close above that, I'm going to actually be looking to get long bonds. And a lot of people want to be short bonds in here and don't like bonds, but if the system says to get long bonds, it's time to get long bonds. So this is a chart of USO oil, and the same thing. I was long oil, and the trade was closed out this week. And oil is sort of looking a little bit weak in here. I don't try to predict where price is going to go, but it's just kind of consolidating. I will open up a new long trade in here if I can get filled and I can get the right risk reward. And the level that's going to make me short is this 34.13 level. If we get a close below there, I'm going to be short oil. So, I guess we'll just see what happens. Maybe if we take a peek here, if we look at the futures aren't doing much today. It's probably to be expected, but they're still sort of in that same area as well. This is gold, and gold just got smacked on Friday. It gapped down. I was short gold. It took me out of my short position. I was short gold from somewhere around in here, I think, late January, and I was getting a little bit nervous. The thing kept poking up here, and I thought maybe it was going to make a run at these highs and close above this 163.95 level or so, but it never did. And then we got this gap down, and my vertical hit its profit target, and it was out. Right now, gold's pretty overextended, and I will try to be short gold, but it's going to need to get to the right risk-reward level. And when we're this far away from a stop level, 162.77 is the stop level, and gold's way down here in the 156-ish area. I'm probably not going to get the right risk reward to open the trade. Implied volatility would have to be really, really high in order for it to be a good idea. This is the euro, and I was able to close out of my euro trade as well. And then we got this break here, and in this shaded area, this is where trend flipped, and so now I should technically be short the euro. And I've had a few orders in the market. I had a few in last week trying to get filled here on the short side, and I just can't get the right risk rewards. So, they don't get filled, and sometimes that's the way it goes. You don't want to force a trade, you don't want to push a trade, but if you can get a good opportunity, you get filled, that's great. If not, you just wait for another day. There's not a whole bunch you can do about it. The other thing that's interesting to note here is that so the euro was kind of strong coming up into here, and then now it's starting to break down. And we also saw, if you recall, the chart of gold breaking down. And so I'm sort of wondering, I guess, to some extent, if we're going to see a little bit of a stronger dollar in here. I don't know. I don't try to predict markets. But just from the evidence that we see, it suggests that maybe the dollar is going to be a little bit stronger. This is going to be the last market I take a look at, and this is FXI, which is basically the Chinese stock market. And I am short Chinese stocks. As you can see, my indicator is telling me here that I need to be short. And if we get a close above 41.31 or so, I'm going to be exiting that short trade. I think I got filled somewhere in here, and I've been taking a little bit of heat on the position, nothing major, but what I'm hoping, I guess, is that price breaks down. And the other thing I might note is that if we think about stocks as being sort of a risky asset class, and Chinese stocks being, part of that risky asset class, quote unquote. What I notice is that if I look at like the U.S. stock market, the small caps here, the Russell, we're really extended. If we get some sort of a pullback, I am going to hope to be short some risky asset classes. And the thing I like about being short the FXI is that it already looks weaker than the Russell. It looks weaker than U.S. stocks. I mean, if you take a look at here, it was just sort of chopping around, and during that same time period, Russell was on a rampage. So if things tend to break down in here, this is going to be a good market, I hope, to be short. We can't predict that, but we can certainly hope. And it's always fine and well to hope in trades. You can't make decisions based on hope. So at any rate, those are the levels I'm watching this week. I hope this helps. Have a good week.